The reason why.
All right, who's here on Robert Castillo?
I'm present.
All right. Did you confer with the state?
I did.
Who did you confer with?
Jason.
All right. Is there going to be objections?
Judge, we're kind of in the same position we were last time we were here 2 weeks ago. And so we just.
All right, I'm going to need everyone to whisper. Yes.
So basically the position we're in is we're the same position we were about 2 weeks ago when they were saying, well, we need to find out if this evidence is going to be something they use in this case. This is a fair stop and render aid. And what we're asking for is a camera that he uses for work and work boots. And it's inside the car. And that's all we're asking for.
All right. State.
Yes, Judge.
On Mr. Robert Castillo.
Yes.
Defense wants his client's work boots, camera with lens. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I was, Judge, and we've spoken about it. And I know it's a 99 still, I believe, or CM.
Mhm.
And
I mean, if you need more time, I'll give you more time. I know we've been here for this before and he needs his
Well,
work boots.
I mean, in all, I don't know about the cameras. I'm not really opposed to the work boots.
Okay.
I mean, because they're work boots, so I'm not really opposed to that. I don't know anything about the cameras or the I don't know if it's a camera or.
It's a single reflex camera. It's it's not like a dash cam. It's
All right,
not like a
let's
video
do-
cam.
Let's do this. This is my suggestion and y'all let me know if this is possible. I would suggest that whoever the officer was or the detective is, see if we can subpoena him to find out if these are in any way connected to the alleged offense. Would you have any objections if he were to appear by video?
I have no objection to that.
Because that would probably make it easier if he could just appear by video.
Absolutely. And from my understanding, there's pretty much no way they could be, but I understand the court's concern. And I don't want to interfere with their investigation. So
So
yeah, if we can,
if
I'm
we can
here to
do
make it
that,
easy for them.
and we can have your client can appear by video as well.
Okay.
And then if the state is unable to say, yes, he can have it back, then I will listen to whatever testimony that's presented to me and I'll make a decision on whether or not these are items he can have.
Okay. Is that a subpoena I need to do for the officer or how do we need to do
I
that?
can call.
Yeah, they'll call. And
Appreciate
then
that.
if you all, whatever dates you all want to set it on, we're here.
Okay. Yeah, that's always.
Maybe if I do contact the detective and he's like, none of that matters, maybe we can just agree.
Yes.
To have a hearing or anything on it.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, just
So
let me
do you need to keep this?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
know. Thank you, Judge. Appreciate
All
it.
right, thank you. All right, everyone, we were starting late because we had some technical difficulties and also because the docket was off. So I'm going to call the docket. When I call your name, if you're here, you need to let me know you are here. In custody, we have Michael Williams, Robert Alvarez, Dominique Brinkley, Sean Branch, Ronald Rodriguez, Brandon Pena, Destiny Argumedo, Vanessa Castillo, Aisha Calderon, which will be in the 175th, Jose Sanchez, Cameron Lawrence, Stephen Walbacher, Timothy Nichols, James Bradley is in custody. Caleb Cromp. Thank you. In custody is Travis Murphy, Edward Murphy. In custody is Christopher Trinidad, Eric Diaz, Michael Ball, Juan Morales, Juan Morales with the Z. Thank you. Cynthia Cabello. In custody is Chris Lynn, Andy Maldonado, Tyrone Eds, Jorge Macias, Anthony Cantu, Carlton Macmillan. Well, he's not here.
This is a recall from Christian.
All right. Francisco Luna. Christopher Caballero. In custody, we have Renee Cantu, Ernest Morales.
Out of custody, Your Honor. I'm right here with counsel Renee Cantu.
All right, thank you. Eugene Boyd. Okay. Is there anyone who's present and your name was not called? All right, we'll start over here. What's your name? Here. Do you know who your attorney is? All right, he didn't answer when I called his name. All right, thank you. Anyone else on this side? On this side? Yes, what's your name? Carlos what?
Ruiz, R-U-I-Z.
Do you know who your attorney is? Do you know your SID number?
47492.
All right, just give us a moment. We'll get with you. All right, everyone. I've already stated the rules to you, so please confer. Deputy Laura, something happened. There it is. Yeah. All right, who's here on Michael Williams? Are you ready? Hi. All right, who is the prosecutor on Michael Williams? All right. Oh, it's a PSI. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 2280, State of Texas versus Michael Donovan Williams. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Michael White for the defense, Your Honor.
All right, and are you Michael Williams?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea of no contest on April 25th. There was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court ordered a PSI. According to the plea bargain agreement, there's no application for deferred adjudication. The state opposes your application for community supervision. Punishment is to be assessed at 3 years in the prison. It's to run concurrent with County Court Cause number 689077. And they will take in consideration County Court Cause number 699697. And the offense is unlawfully carrying a weapon with a felony conviction. All right, have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, sir.
Defense?
Defense, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Judge.
Defense?
No, yeah.
All right, state, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any witnesses?
Yes, I'd like to have the defendant speak, and I would like to speak on his behalf.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Michael Donovan Williams.
You're gonna have to speak up.
Michael Williams.
All right, defense.
Okay, Michael, you know that you weren't supposed to be carrying a gun because of a prior conviction.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what actually happened? You were on your way home from somewhere?
I was on my way home from my aunt's house and I ran into a female friend of mine. It was New Year.
Were you walking from your mother's house or from your aunt's house?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you went into a friend, a lady, a woman?
And she asked me to check her firearm for her. because she was getting ready to go. I guess she was going to go sell it.
She's gonna what?
I guess she was going to go sell her firearm, and she didn't know if it worked or not. So
Okay,
I checked it for her.
so was it loaded already?
Yes,
Okay, so how did you check it then?
I shot it in the air.
You what?
I shot it.
Shot it in the air. Okay, and that was the basis for your arrest? That you-
The base for my arrest was, okay, so she had to leave and go to her parents' home. I was gonna take her firearm to the house for me and hold it for her. So the officer stopped me. Someone had called in the shot. The officer stopped me and told me he got a call. And he got me with unlawful carry.
What do you mean that the police had got a call about somebody firing a firearm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so he stopped you and you had the gun on you still?
Yes, sir.
From the lady that you had met?
Yes, sir.
Friend? Okay. All right, so you had you were gonna hold it for her?
Yes, sir. Until she
Okay.
got
All
back
right,
to me.
all right. Yeah, I'd like you to consider this and from the fact that there wasn't that much malice in his carrying this, it was something that he hadn't expected.
Oh, just 1 second. State, do you have any questions?
Let's see, okay, all right.
State, any questions?
Yeah, sir, is it true that you were on probation for burglary of a vehicle second in this fall?
Yes, sir.
And isn't it also true that you never reported the probation for that offense?
I had complications reporting. I did try to report, but I had problems with my phone and the Zoom.
Did you have to go in person?
No, sir. I did call and make an appointment, but I didn't make it.
No, further from state.
All right, any further questions, counsel?
And no further questions, I'd just like to speak on his behalf.
Yes.
Okay, Your Honor, I'd like to consider in the PSI where it shows that his upbringing was a problem. He had no help from his father. He was brought up by his aunt and his mother, but he had a lot of psychological problems and depression. And he only went through halfway through school. And then he was not very employable. So the last 7 years he'd been unemployed. And I think that idleness also set the scene for his drug addiction and alcohol. But he quit the alcohol in 2014, but he continued on some other drugs and he hasn't had those in the last 6 months.
All right, just 1 second, counsel. Mr. Williams, I'm going to give you a choice. Here's your choice. I can give you probation, but you're going into inpatient treatment, or either I will sentence you to 2 years in prison. Now, they say that you have mental health issues and that they're recommending MIOF. MIOF is inpatient. Now, you can go to prison for 2 years, do your time, you're done, or either you can be on probation out of this court.
Recommend you go probation.
Well, no, counsel, this is what I would always tell my clients. I'm not the person who's going to be doing probation. He will. And he knows better than I do, better than you, and better than anyone else, whether or not he can successfully complete probation. So far, what I've seen in his history, he cannot complete probation. But I understand that there are mental health issues going on because in the possession case for his previous conviction, I saw that there was a transfer to MIOF. And then he ended up failing that and ended up going to prison. So you know yourself better than I do, better than your attorney does. Deputy Laura always tells everybody probation in this court is not easy. So your choice is, and there are only two choices. One, I can send you to prison, or two, you're going in inpatient treatment and you're going in MIOF. Either way, you're not going home today. So which do you choose?
I would say, due to my current addiction, I was on heroin. I would say I need an inpatient. I would like to take the probation.
Okay. All right, the court is going to sentence you to 3 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 8 years. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. The UA hotline. We can do a referral to felony drug court. That will be in custody. If he's not accepted in custody, I see here that they're recommending MIOF. That's what they have in there, that he's eligible for MIOF. So if not felony drug court, then MIOF. And then if MIOF is not going to, if felony drug court doesn't accept him and MIOF doesn't accept him, then we'll do SafeP. Proof of employment or SSI within 45 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. 200 hours of community service restitution. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
14, 13, and 11.
Are you in their life at all?
Not at this time.
That's either yes or no. Have you been an upstanding father in their life, someone they can look up to?
I have, not
How?
recently, but I have.
All right, there's going to be parenting classes. This to run concurrent with County Court Cause number 689077. Taking consideration 699697. And then there will be the UA hotline. Counsel, you're hitting the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The UA hotline until further notice. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need from me to be successful? I'm sorry?
No, ma'am.
All right, and so the MIOF, the felony drug court and SafeP, that's to be done in custody.
John, I think he's going to need a lot of help with getting employment. He hasn't had any, and he has his psychological problems as well. So
When's the last time you had employment?
2008.
All right, so you haven't really been supporting your children. All right, and with regards to employment, there's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. If you are planning to be in your children's life and be someone they can be proud of, you're going to have to do better. If you're not going to be in their life on a permanent basis and just breeze in and breeze out, then you need not be around them. You understand? Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Mr. Alexander, did you pass that to him? Did you sign that? Did you review that with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you.
Guess what? Thank you. All right, who's here on Andy Maldonado Rivera?
We're here, Judge. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right, where are we on the discovery?
I think we've got it licked, Judge. I talked to the prosecutor this morning. They have it in their possession. I need to deliver them a external hard drive. It's photographs and stuff. So it's a big file. But I think he said it's about 180 gigabytes. So I don't know how long it's going to take me to go through it, but we're definitely over this hump. So we're in good shape.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. On this case, with Maldonado Rivera. State, when will you be prepared to make an offer?
They have made an initial offer, Judge, but that was without us, going through. all
Oh,
this.
so state, you've already made an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe an offer's been made. I think we're coming back today because we were trying to get a cell phone dump. And the state has received a drive with that dump. And we've informed defense that if they provide us with a drive large enough for the dump, we can put it on their drive and get that.
All right. So Ms. Ferguson, on this case, thank you.
Yes, sir.
On this case, Ms. Ferguson, give them a 45-day reset for a plea deadline date.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh, well, you need to date, don't you?
Oh,
Hey,
well, thank you again.
I got 2 thank yous in one
Hey.
day.
Better to be nice.
I can do August 1st.
All right, we'll come back on August 1st. August 1st will be your plea deadline date. At that time, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pretty good offer. I think we're doing it. It's just, so I will note that.
Caleb Cromp.
Speak up, she's typing down everything.
All right, so today is for discovery.
Yes, Judge. Right now, the CPS.
It's Caleb Crump. There you go. Yes.
CPS records, I think they're burning them to a disk to get to me. And
Okay.
they have subpoenaed APS to get me the file that we talked about last time, but right now, we still don't have those. They're in the works essentially. Hopefully, we can have one more discovery.
So what
session.
don't you have?
I don't have the Adult Protective Services record for one of the witnesses / maybe complaining witnesses. And then I don't have a CPS case involving him. That was the notice of additional discovery. I should have that one sooner rather than later, though.
And that is correct, Your Honor. The subpoena is out on the Adult Protective Services records and on the CPS records. It's just a matter of getting them turned to the disk, which I have noted
Okay.
a little reminder to do that after this docket so that we
Okay.
can provide them immediately.
All right, so is 45 days enough time for the Adult Protective Services?
I would think so, and I would think I'd have enough time to review them. It just depends on how thick the file is and assuming they do come back.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. I need a 45-day reset on Cromp for discovery.
I can do that one on August 3rd.
All right, August 3rd.
Thank you, Judge.
Once you sign the reset form, you and your client are excused.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Oh, Judge, sorry, one more thing. Last time you made mention of the fact that my client looked a little bit fidgety. He mentioned the fact that he had been prescribed THC. You asked for
Yes.
the documentation. I have that here today. He stopped it.
Okay.
In an interest of just being as safe as possible until we discuss it with you.
Okay.
Since that happened, he did have another epileptic seizure.
Mhm.
There are seizure medications available to him. They're much more expensive. They are much more harsh on his body.
Well, no, here's the thing about that. Whoever is testing him, whether he's using marijuana or not, I know that there is medical use that's allowed for marijuana. He just needs to make sure that he has that. Otherwise, he's going to have problems.
Put all the cards on the table for you.
All right. Thank you. State, do you need to see this?
Defense tendered those to the state and the state has.
All right. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
want those for your file?
Yes, I'll keep them.
Thank
And once you sign the reset, you're excused.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
I'll go and wait for you now. There's usually one in this pocket. Hey, I don't feel it. Thanks.
So, see what feelings about that. I do. She wants to proceed.
Who's here on Anthony Cantu? Anthony Cantu. Michael Ball. Jose Sanchez. All right, Mr. Sanchez, come forward.
He's actually custody, but not brought up.
Oh, they're bringing him over.
Okay,
Yes.
you know, I'm supposed to leave for Houston this afternoon for an event there tomorrow morning. Do you know if it's gonna be this morning or?
Okay, I can't hear you.
Oh, I
You're-
see.
You're mumbling.
Well, I'd originally asked if we could bring him back another day just because I'm supposed to go to Houston this afternoon.
It'll take a few minutes for them to get him here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
All
that's
right,
fine.
thank you. What are you doing in Houston?
Visiting an inmate at TDC
Ah, okay.
on a writ.
Oh, well, you know what? We have to let you go do that. Usually people will come and say they need to go somewhere to go to another court as though this court is not as important,
Right,
but you're visiting an inmate and I know how that works with the time.
yes.
All right, Ms. Ferguson.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, on this case, Jose Sanchez, you can counsel him, Deputy Laura. And Norma, can you give them a reset date for next week?
Or any day next week's fine except for Monday.
One second.
Okay. And do,
Yeah, the 22nd.
all right, we'll come back on June 22nd.
Judge, thank you so much.
And do you have the video? Because last time there was a discovery issue with the video.
I don't believe I do, Judge. I don't believe I do.
State, this is Criminal Trial Division. On Jose Sanchez, there was an issue with the video. We were here for discovery on a video, so we're going to come back on June 22nd. Can you make sure that that video is available for defense?
Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you.
And thank you for that also, Judge.
You're welcome. Who's here on Destiny Argometa? And Deputy Laura, can you have IT come back? Because I think they're still probably in the back of my offices. All right, where's Argometa?
She's in custody, Your Honor. We just wanted to touch base with you because they're still working on the competency evaluation.
All right, was Argometa brought over?
She's downstairs, Your Honor.
Okay. Y'all want to bring her up so she can know what's going on? All right. So just give us a moment. We will bring her up so she'll know what's happening.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Who's here on Brandon Pena?
I went down and checked, called around.
Mhm.
Text and said, come back.
Wait, oh, I'm sorry, what?
I went back to check on this Calderon on 175th.
Is there a reason you're whispering?
Not really, no.
Okay, 'cause I'm like, okay.
I just had a breath because my client texted me, said you just called my name, so I ran
All right.
back up. I
Okay.
apologize. Don't fall and on that. Thank you.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Could you have a seat? Let me take this up real quick. Anthony Cantu,
Sorry, that I just ran.
no problem. Anthony Cantu. All right, what's happening with this case?
Good. We conferred this morning and I got an offer from the state for the first time that's going to probably take care of a couple misdemeanors as well that I don't represent. My client on this, I represent him on the felony. I don't represent on the misdemeanors. I would like to get appointed to the misdemeanors so we can take care of all of it together.
Mhm.
As well as my client's going to consider the offer and I'm going to discuss with his family. And we'll have a decision on the state's offer we got today about the next setting.
All right, Ms. Ferguson,
Yes, ma'am.
on Anthony Cantu, can we recall this next week for a plea deadline date?
I have a vacation on file, letter on file for next week, Judge. The week after is fine. Pick any day is fine. So anyway, from the 26th to the 30th.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, put this at the beginning of that week of July.
I have a vacation letter for the first week of July as well, Judge. The second week of July is open. That's the 10th through the 14th.
All right, this is an unauthorized use of a vehicle, so I'm assuming there's a lot of discussion that needs to be had on an unauthorized use.
There is a unindicted case, Judge, that the state would not file if we took care of this. So my
What's the unindicted case?
Judge, there was potential that he could have been charged with aggravated robbery as a party.
So we're actually having major conversations about an unauthorized use as opposed to maybe not having an aggravated robbery charge.
So I just conferred with I just got the offer this morning, Judge. I conveyed it to my client and so he is going to just not long, if I could just get till the 26th. That's about a week. If we could just get that long so I can meet with him.
Norma,
Yes, ma'am.
do we have anything on the docket for tomorrow or no?
I'm going to be in Kendall County tomorrow morning, Judge.
Well, this is Bear County. It starts with a B. Kendall starts with a K, so this one tops that. All right, Norma, can you bring this back on July 10th?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court will not accept any plea bargain agreements after that date. Do you understand? All right,
Thank you, Your Honor.
you're welcome.
Are you glad that I get to relax and cut off from you? Judge, we also call, I believe, Mr. Michael Ball.
Hi. Sorry, it's, yeah. All right, thank you. Michael Ball? Where's Michael Ball?
Just one moment.
All right, and you all need to move this way. All right, so what's happening with this case?
Judge, we have a plea bargain offer. We submitted some additional paperwork to the state, some additional evidence we'd like for them to consider this morning, and we'll be ready at the next session.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Ball, put this on July 10th for a plea deadline date.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, we'll give you a reset form and then you're excused. You're welcome. Sure.
That I did whisper.
Who is the one that's?
Who's here on Brandon Pena? Yes, where's your client?
He's in the jury box top to the right, Judge.
All right, come down. And counsel, you're on this side.
I was waiting for him, but
Are you all ready to proceed? Counsel,
I am ready to withdraw. Judge, I was appointed with this case as a first degree felony. I'm not on that wheel. I informed Mr. Pena, he informed me he's gonna hire an attorney. So it kind of works out, and he wanted some time, and I said he would have to address the court with that.
Norma, can you see if there's an attorney available? Just have a seat. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You can call Mac and tell them who's here in the courtroom. Do you need the file to know who it's for? It's for Brandon Rocky Pena. Cynthia Cabela.
Morning, Judge.
Oh, you're here for her?
I am.
All right. All right, do you have all the discovery?
I believe we do, Judge. We're confirming that as we speak, and I believe it is correct. We do.
And was an offer tender?
It was, Judge. In fact, it was a new offer was made today.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. Can you, just one second. So she's just calling Mac to have them come down. But while she's here, I see some interesting tattoos. What do they say? What is it all about?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
The whole top half is for my baby sister. She passed away when she was 29.
Oh, I'm
So it's
sorry.
got a lot of like her stuff and my stuff.
All right, everyone, if you could whisper. Yes.
So it's got her birthday, her birth flower, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot with my sister.
Mhm.
And then this is, I've been in a lot of fates lately,
Mhm.
and I feel like sunflower, they always regrow. And
I love the sunflowers.
So, and then what greater symbol than a cross for God's love?
Mhm.
And I'm trying to remind myself to have faith.
Okay. So is the inner arm tattoo more painful than the outer arm?
No, the outer is more, and then like right here.
Oh my gosh. I always wonder about the pain. Norma, can I have a 3-week reset on this case for a plea deadline date?
July 13th.
All right, July 13th. At that time, you'll need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're excused as soon as you sign the reset form.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Judge, I have one more that.
Oh, just 1 second.
Sorry.
I need to write this down. Who do you have?
Carlos Madrigal Hernandez.
I don't have that file for me. Did you ask for it to be pulled?
I did.
Thank you. I didn't hear Madrigal. All right. So yes,
Judge, he said on the 20th and the court had reset it because he has some immigration issues that they're looking into. I have to be in Comal County and Kimball County on the 20th. I'm just asking the court to call back the 21st or 22nd.
all right. Are you in contact with your client?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Ferguson, are we able to move this to the 21st?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So that's a Wednesday. So you need to make sure you're here exactly at 9 a.m.
We will, Judge.
All right.
This is my only case on Wednesday, so that's,
Okay.
I will be. Thank you, Judge. Maybe.
You're welcome. Yes.
That's what you call me back and they don't have to.
All right. So let's just do someone who's in here. All right. What's your name? Agamemno. Destiny. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. And yourself?
Oh, I'm doing great.
That's good.
So I was just calling you because I wanted everyone, please whisper. I wanted them to bring you out so you'll know what's going on with your case. So you won't be confused, like, what happened? Nobody
Yes,
called me. And I know at the jail, they wake you all up super early to get here. Like, what time do they wake you all up?
At 5 in the morning.
Okay. All right. So we're still waiting for the results of your evaluation. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a 45-day reset, but if the evaluation comes back sooner, then we'll have you here sooner.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty, that's fine.
Do you have any questions about anything?
How long does it take more or less for the eval?
Well, you should be on the list now because we had requested it in May. So it should be fairly quickly, and I'll tell them to expedite it.
Yes, ma'am. And also for a bond motion, how do I go about that?
Oh, your attorney will do that, and it can be filed with Judge Nahara. So once you file that, just let Ms. Ferguson know, and that judge will hear it, okay?
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
All right, let me give you a date, okay? Ms. Ferguson, can I have 45 days on Destiny Agamemno? And it's for the evaluation. All right, so we're putting August 1st. I know that seems like a long way away, but as I said, if we get it sooner, we'll have you sooner than that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The other case, I'm gonna give Carl.
Okay, thank you.
Now, Docket in the box, please.
Dominique Brinkley. All right, court is calling 2023 CR 0654, State of Texas versus Dominique Michael Clark Brinkley. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
Mario Moreno.
And are you Mr. Brinkley?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea of no contest on April 17th. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court deferred finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication.
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 8 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. The state opposes your application. They're taking in consideration 2022 CR 5308 and 2023 CR 0224. And there's to be restitution to the complainant. And you were subjected to the full range of punishment if you didn't appear for sentencing, but you are here. So have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections, state?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any objection?
No objection.
State, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense has 3 witnesses to present to the court today, including Mr. Brinkley.
All right, call your witness.
First, the defense would call Ariana Donovan.
All right, Ariana Donovan.
Sir, can you step on this side?
All right, and Mr. Garahan, you could move over. All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. You're going to need to speak up so the court reporter can hear. All right, state your name for the record.
Ariana Donovan,
All right, how do you spell your first name?
Aryanna.
All right, defense.
Ms. Donovan, good morning.
Good morning.
Could you explain to the court, please, what your relationship is with Dominic?
I'm his girlfriend and the mother of his child.
How long have you known Dominic?
Right now it's been a year and a half. We met in elementary, but we just recently started talking again.
So about a year and a half of having a relationship with him.
Yes,
And you mentioned you're the mother of his child.
yes,
How old is your child?
1 month.
Boy or girl?
Okay.
Since finding out that you were pregnant, has Dominic been an active participant in the, was he an active participant in the pregnancy? Did he go with you to
Yes.
doctor's appointments, things like
To
that?
everyone, yeah,
Since the child has been born, has Dominic been involved in the child's life?
yes.
How is he involved?
Well, since he's working, he's been providing like diapers, wipes, clothes if we need it.
Do the two of you live together?
Yes.
Where does he?
4th Street?
Which was she?
Yes.
Since being in a relationship with him, has he exhibited any sort of signs of violence or aggression for you?
No, he hasn't.
Do you have any fear of or concern of danger to you or your child from
No.
Dominic? What was it?
No.
Are you asking the court today to sentence Dominic to prison or for probation?
Probation.
And why is that?
Well, I wanted them to raise our child, so, because I know how it is to not have parents in my life, being in jail, so I just don't want that from her.
Are you familiar with the crime to which Dominic has pled to?
Yes.
Is there anything further you would wish to tell the judge to plead in terms of an argument to keep him out of prison? Anything you just wish for the judge to know?
I want him to be able to like be there while she grows up. If you let him.
Is this your first child?
Yes, it does.
I have no further questions.
All right, state.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Where does he work at this current time?
54th Street?
Okay, thank you. No further questions, John.
All right, thank you.
Just a clarification.
Sure.
54th Street, the restaurant?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You may call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defense will now call Amber Clark.
All right, Amber Clark,
Oh, Asher, I'm sorry.
Asher Clark,
Amber Asher.
Amber Asher. Thank you. All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if you could state your name for the record, please.
Amber Asher.
All right, you can lower your hand. Defense?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Asher, good morning.
Or
What is your relationship with Dominique?
he's my oldest son.
Jason. Jason,
Thank you. Your Honor.
you're welcome.
Mr. Attorney, I'm sorry. So he's your oldest son?
That's correct.
How many children do you have?
6.
And what do you do for a living, Ms. Asher?
I deliver for Uber.
Like Uber Eats? Okay, thank you. Oh, and just for clarification for the record, you'll need a.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. So in the interview that Dominic provided to probation, he had mentioned that he was mostly raised from childhood by his aunt and uncle. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Can you explain to the court how he ended up in the custody of his aunt and uncle?
Due to domestic violence between his father, him and his younger brother were both removed from my custody, and my aunt legally adopted them.
And just so the judge is aware, was this domestic violence? Were you charged with domestic violence? Were you an aggressor in these situations?
No, I was the victim.
Did you feel that because of that circumstances, you felt Dominic would have been safer in the custody of your aunt and uncle?
That's correct.
After he was put into the custody of your aunt and uncle, were you just no longer involved with his life?
I've always been there.
So you've played an active role in his upbringing?
That's correct.
Was Dominic's biological father, was he ever in the picture for him?
No, I think the last time Dominic saw him, he was like 3.
3 years old?
So I'm sorry, I'm confused. So the person that she's saying was abusive to her, is that the defendant's biological father?
That's correct.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
No,
Thank you. Could you please describe the judge, Dominic's character? Let's start, I guess, before this incident. And any change or growth in his character that you've seen since he was arrested on these charge.
I would have to say that before he was arrested on this charge, there was like tremendous maturity happening. And I won't say he made a mistake. He made some really bad choices in that time frame. My dad had just passed away like 2 months before that, and a lot was going on with me and him and his younger brother.
His younger brother being Isaiah?
That's correct.
Mhm.
And they kind of just lost their way for a while there. My dad was Dominic's best friend, the one that he always talked to. And then he felt like the one person who was always there for him was gone.
Since he was arrested for this charge, the aggravated robbery charge, how would you describe, I guess, the changes that he's made in his life, improvements, if any?
he started to get his life on track as far as employment and talked about school, getting this GED, and starting to care about where his life was going instead of just being this empty shell every day.
What about any sort of changes in character since learning that he was to become a father?
He's very responsible. He's a great dad as far as I've seen so far. He does everything he can to try to help with the baby.
As far as you're aware, would there be potential issues in terms of raising the child if Dominic is not involved?
Financially, of course, and also she needs her dad.
Obviously, being his mother, knowing him since from birth, any history at all that Dominic had, of aggression or violence or acting out in anger, like was he getting into a lot of fights in school, anything like that?
No,
But you had mentioned your younger son, Isaiah. Thank you. He was mentioned as well in Dominic's interview. Dominic admitted that Isaiah was the shooter in this incident. As far as you're aware, is that correct?
that is correct.
Where is Isaiah now?
He's TDC.
Is it because of this incident that he is there?
That's one of the incidents for the reason why he's there. He had numerous charges.
I know it's tough as a mother to talk about your children in this life, but would you describe Isaiah as being more of a troubled or violent individual compared to Dominic?
He's definitely more of fly off the handle than Dominic. Dominic more level-headed than Isaiah's more rowdy. I don't know how else to explain him, like.
That's fair. Could you please explain to the judge why you believe that Dominic is deserving of a chance on deferred adjudication rather than going to prison?
I think that's it right there. It's just a chance. He just needs a chance to not become a statistic of his. He made a horrible choice and he knows that, and we just ask for mercy, that's all. He has to be accountable for his actions and we understand that.
Is there anything else that you would like to inform the judge? Anything you feel is important for her to know about Dominic?
I just know that his heart's in the right place and his mind's in the right place, and he just needs, he wants to do things right and be a good productive member of society, a good man, a good father, and a good, fiance to his girl. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Pass on to Chairman.
All right, State.
Yes, but are you aware that your son is also accused of unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and theft of that motor vehicle on June 23rd, 2021?
That's correct.
Just one second. Excuse me, lady in the shirt. Who are you? No, who are you? Are you here? You're a friend? Well, friend, this is not visitation and you're talking to inmates in the box. And let me tell you what the problem with that is. The problem with that, oh, don't give me attitude. The problem with that is the fact that the officers are in charge of security and you're messing with security. So friend of the person in the box, step outside the courtroom. And the friend in the box, this is not visitation. You need to do that at the jail. No. Okay, yes.
Yes, I am aware that he had those other two charges. One of the charges actually, the vehicle in question was actually stolen by my other son.
So I guess since you brought it up, your other son, so two of your sons one being the oldest, and then Isaiah is the next one. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So both of them are out car hopping. You know what that means?
Yes.
What does that mean?
They're basically going from car to car. Getting whatever they can out of it.
Were they living with you at this time?
No,
Well, you stated that he didn't, the defendant in this case, your son, didn't he come to live with you when he was 17 or 18?
when he turned 18, he did.
Okay, so how old was he when he was committing these felonies? Because he has to be 18 or older, so he was staying with you when he was 18.
I'm sorry, stay just one second, excuse me. Guys, don't approach the court coordinator while we're on the record, because there's chatter over here, there's chatter in the box. It's making it difficult for me to hear on this very important case, which all the cases are important, and it's making it difficult for the court reporter to hear. All right, so you may continue.
So you're aware that, I mean, when he was committing theft of vehicle or unauthorized use of motor vehicle, he was staying with you, is that right?
At first, he did go back and forth. It wasn't like one day he brought all his stuff and moved in. It was, he came, he stayed the weekend, and then it was, you know, it kind of just solidified into like a permanent thing. Isaiah ended up going back to my aunt's because he didn't have a choice.
So to be fair, I mean, your sons and your children are moving from your house to somebody else's house. You don't know exactly where they are, do you?
I don't agree with that
Okay, so you know where they're at all times?
for the most part.
So on December 25th, going into December 26th, when this aggravated robbery where their shooting happened, you knew where they were on Christmas night?
I didn't know where they were at that time, no.
Okay, so now do you agree with me that you don't know where they're at all times?
Well, I don't think anybody knows where their children are at all times when they're at that age.
On Christmas night?
Well, I do have 4 other kids at home, so yeah, I mean,
This one child of yours that's over the age of 18 staying with you, and then you also have a juvenile son that was charged with this aggravated robbery that went to TYC for this actual ag robbery. So you didn't know where your juvenile son was that night when he's committing an ag robbery. Is that correct?
I mean, I guess that's correct, but like I
Okay.
said, my
Thank you.
aunt has custody of Isaiah and had custody of him at that time.
Okay. And actually, your son in this particular case is actually says that he's going to return to the aunt and uncle's residence and stay there with his girlfriend with their, I believe, this young child, the 9-month-old. Is that right?
Yes,
And
separated.
not with you. Is that right?
That's correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, any other questions?
Some follow up, Your Honor.
Yes.
How old is Dominique today?
20.
20 years old. So at the time that this occurred, roughly around 18 years old. Does that sound right, or is that incorrect?
That's correct.
Were at that time, were you keeping tabs on him at all times? Or was he of the age where he was? Let me rephrase it this way. At 18, is he an adult?
Yes, at 18.
I'm sorry, just to rephrase, at that age of 18, is he considered an adult?
Yes.
No further question.
All right, any other questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
I just have a few questions, if there's no objection.
No objection.
State, Your Honor.
All right, so were your parental rights terminated?
No, I actually relinquished my rights. It was an ongoing CPS case, and they basically told me I had ran out of time. They'd already given me an extension.
So that means that there was a legal case, am I correct?
Yes,
And as a part of that legal case, there were certain things you had to complete.
before I relinquished my rights. That's
No,
correct.
there were certain things that you had to complete because they were giving you a chance to have your children in your custody,
That's
correct?
correct.
So what did you not complete?
I actually didn't complete, well, I didn't maintain my sobriety at that time.
Okay,
So I went into inpatient.
all right. Thank you so much for coming in and giving me some insight into your son. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, call your next witness.
Defense would not call Dominique. Brinkley.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state your name for the record.
Dominique Brinkley.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dominic, do you understand why we're here today?
I do understand.
You understand that you are facing the potential possibility, if the judge follows this agreement, for a maximum of 8 years in prison.
I do understand.
What are you asking of the judge today?
Your Honor, I really just want to ask for forgiveness. If I had the chance to speak to the victim and let him know how sorry I am and how like bad I feel for the incident and what went down that night, I wish I could come up with the words to apologize to him. I really don't think that there's enough words or things that I can say to him that is gonna make it better. I was traumatized that day. I was also shot, and I just can't imagine how traumatized that his family and he is. And if I had the opportunity to apologize, I would do so. I don't think that that would take it away or make things better. But if I had the opportunity to go back in time and fix things and not do them the way that I did them, I would. I really am just praying and asking that you give me a chance, Your Honor. I make some very bad choices and I'm trying to turn that around. I didn't have a father figure to tell me like the right from wrong. So I learned the hard way. And this is one of those many times that I'm learning the hard way. I just please ask you that you give me a little bit of leniency and push for the probation instead of prison time. So that way I can be there around my daughter while she grows up and she doesn't have to grow up without a father like I did. The same thing as my fiance. She grew up without her father and I don't want that for my baby girl. I was also molested as a kid. And I don't want that for my daughter. I don't want her to not have her parents around to watch her, to know that she's okay 25/8. I don't want her to make the wrong choices that I did. And I don't want her to have to grow up without a father figure. I am extremely sorry for my actions and my part in the incident, but I really do not believe that I deserve time because I didn't play the part in shooting the gun, and I take full responsibility for my actions. I was there and I made that decision to do so. I just hope that the victim can find some type of forgiveness for me. And I hope that you can understand that I really was just a broken soul at that time, and I'm really trying to turn myself around now, ma'am. I really am. And I'm doing everything I can to do so. I'm working, I'm providing for my baby girl. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. I haven't had any violations on my monitor. I've gone to and from work, done what I was supposed to do. And I will do more to prove that I am capable of succeeding and growing and becoming a better man as time goes by. I'll do any type of counseling, any type of anger management problems, anything. I want to do whatever it is that I can to rehabilitate myself and better myself as a man, as a father, as a son, as an individual. Like, I really hope that you can forgive me, Your Honor, and that you understand that I'm not a criminal. I just made some very wrong choices and I'm doing my best to fix them and turn around.
Dominic, you had mentioned about forgiveness. So just to be clear, are you asking the judge for a chance on deferred adjudication?
Yes, Your Honor, that's exactly what I'm asking.
You had also mentioned to the judge, willingness to do whatever he orders. But let me ask you this, do you personally believe that you are in need of counseling and classes, parenting classes, self-help classes? Do you feel like that's what you need internally?
Yes, I do. I'm always trying to better myself. And at this point in time, like right now, I'm focused on that 100%. Like that's my main goal, is to better myself as a human being. I made some very bad choices and I'm not trying to go back down that road that I went down. I had dealt with the loss of my grandpa and he was the closest thing to a father figure I had.
What sort of goals do you have in life? Do you have a career path? Any sort of plans that you have for your future?
Honestly, if you would have asked me 10 years ago or 15 years ago what I wanted to be when I grow up, I would have said that I wanted to be a dad, and I've gotten that wish come true. I just really hope that I can spend that time with my daughter and not have to be taken away from her.
What plans do you have in place to be a better father to your daughter?
I plan to be around and provide, to love her unconditionally, on a level that I never was shown. I just want to be there for her. That I think that that's the most important thing mentally, is she needs that support. She needs me around, and if she doesn't have me around, I think that she's just gonna be a loose end.
I'll pass it.
All right, state.
Yes, you stated you're not a criminal, is that correct?
Yes,
How many cars have you burglarized?
I don't know. I don't know, sir.
I mean, too many to count.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because it's called car hopping, where you would go around a neighborhood or apartment complex and check doors to see if they're unlocked and then burglarize the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
And that's a criminal, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you don't know how many cars that you've done. The night that this happened, on Christmas night, going into Christmas, the day after Christmas, your brother had a gun with him,
Yes.
and you knew he had a gun with him.
No, I did not.
You didn't.
I had no idea he had a weapon.
So the two of y'all are burglarizing vehicles, and your brother has a gun, and you don't know he has a gun, and your brother used that gun on the victim in this case, and then also including you. He shot you also in that act. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So after it happened, what did y'all do?
Well, after the whole incident, I had went straight home and I rinsed my arm off. That's what I did, and I wrapped it up.
What'd y'all do for the victim? Nothing. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. May I ask a question, or do you have more questions?
I have no further questions.
Right. So there's this vehicle, and there are Christmas gifts in the vehicle. And I read the stipulations. I always reread those, and I read the PSI report. So these people were taking Christmas gifts out of their car because it's Christmas time. They leave their door open, as people sometimes do, because they're trying to load the Christmas gifts in, probably preparing Christmas for their children, because Santa Claus is real. So trying to make sure that they know that Santa Claus was able to stop by the house, and you and your brother decide to take their Christmas gifts. Were you able to take some of their Christmas gifts?
Your Honor, I don't believe that I grabbed anything out of the car.
Well, you and your brother, because you and your brother were doing this together. Were you able to take some of their Christmas gifts?
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
Well, I mean, not believe so. You know if there were packages wrapped in your vehicle or not.
Well, it was a pretty traumatizing experience for me. Like, my brother had just shot me and I went to
Well,
complete
I mean, your brother shot you by accident. He was trying to shoot the complainant, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you took some of their Christmas gifts. I would like to know, when you went back home to wash the blood off your arm,
Yes, Your
what
Honor.
happened to their Christmas gifts?
I don't know, because I didn't go that far. My brother dropped me off at the house and he did what he did with the rest of the stuff.
And what did your uncle ask you? Because I see your uncle was trying to help you with the gunshot wound to
Yes,
your
sir.
arm. What did your uncle do?
I had told him that my brother had shot me, and that's when he got in hydrogen peroxide. We just cleaned it and I wrapped it up.
Did anybody search for a bullet? Was this like Rambo, where somebody has some, gunpowder and they put it in the wound and light it? What did he do? Oh, a visual.
It's right here.
Okay.
That's the, I came out right here.
Oh, so he knew that there was an exit wound?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. There was one hole right here and one right here. So.
And what did your brother say to you when you told him he had shot you? Did he say you're on your own?
Like, it wasn't really like that. It was more like he didn't know what to do.
Was it like a scene out of the movie where you see in a movie where somebody gets shot and they just say, we got to help him, and then they just drop him off at the hospital door and keep going? Or did he just drop you off at your uncle's house?
I just got dropped off and then cleaned it, and then that's when I was taken to my mom's from there.
All right, then that day you ruined somebody's Christmas,
I understand.
and you understand that the complainant was shot.
Yes, Your Honor.
and they didn't go to their uncle's house. They had to go to the hospital.
I understand. Your Honor.
All right, any other questions?
No further.
All right, any other witnesses?
No further witness.
All right, the court will hear argument. State,
State's asking for 8 years in TDC, Your Honor.
all right, defense.
Your Honor, defense will be asking the court to take into consideration all that has been presented today and give Mr. Brinkley a chance on deferred adjudication. You've heard his history, his coming up. He's mentioned that he didn't have a really good, I guess, father figure in his life. He had his mother that was there to help raise him, even though she had.
Just 1 second. I'm sorry. You probably may need to start breathing through your mouth because I see you're hyperventilating.
I have an anxiety disorder.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So you probably want to take some deep breaths.
Yeah, but the she's water on it. Please.
Sure.
I'm not sure he's cooled off.
Whenever.
Yeah, leave it up here.
Yes. All right, so I hear your,
We've heard the story of his upbringing. You know, even though his mother relinquished her rights, she tried her best to stay in his life as much as possible. But he's admitted to the court that he felt that he just didn't have the right tools in his upbringing to help him. You know, he's gone through some very traumatic experiences in his life, being molested, and he admitted to that to the probation officer. I will admit to the court that was the first time I heard that information as well. It was news to me. He expressed in that report that incident had a huge impact on his life. It led him down a spiral of depression, anxiety. He kind of closed himself off. And that led to some, as he described, some very bad choices. Breaking into vehicles seemed to be what his main outlet was. But I think it's very clear from the testimony and from the admissions that he made to the officers and what he's explained to the court that Mr. Brinkley himself, he's not a violent person. He's not the type of person to go out with a gun and looking to harm anybody. I think I don't want to say wrong place, wrong time, because that's not the right word here. It's just, he made a bad choice and he happened to be put into the situation where his brother escalated things to the point where nobody wants to see. And I know that Mr. Brinkley is extremely sorry about what happened. And like he said, there's no way that he can ever express how sorry he is or ever take it back or ever make it better. The person who was responsible for the actual harm is sitting right now in TDC custody.
all
We're
right.
we're just asking for the court to take into consideration Mr. Brinkley's role in this. He is willing to take responsibility. He understands his role in it as well. Just give him a chance for adjudication, 10 years if the court feels necessary. He hasn't had an opportunity to be guided in the right path. You know, he's begging the court for counseling. He's reaching out for a hand, asking for help. He's got this newborn child. Parenting classes are obviously needed. Moral recognition therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. I mean, anything that can be available to Mr. Brinkley.
All
I
right,
know that not
here's
only
my
will-
question though.
Yes, Judge.
Why would somebody who has an aggravated robbery pending decide to get with someone and have a child until they know what's happening with this?
It's all about the choices. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, but he
Those
does
are
have-
just questions because this aggravated robbery date on it is 2021. So it's not like he had the baby beforehand because they've just told me the baby is months old. So why would people do that, knowing that this is there and then come to the court and say, my child is going to need a father?
Say something, please, Your Honor.
Oh, sure.
I chose to have my daughter because that was one of the many goals that I wanted to accomplish in life. And
To have a child
well, I wanted to be a father because
while you have an aggravated robbery
honestly,
pending.
ma'am, I wasn't thinking about that. When I got the charge, I didn't get the charge. I got it when I got arrested late in November and my girl was pregnant in August.
Mhm.
So I honestly
I
was.
mean, but you had to have known that this was coming down the pipeline because
that's
you've
why-
been shot and the complainant's been shot.
Yes,
So
Your Honor.
you decided to get into a relationship and to have a child. Did you tell her about this aggravated robbery that was pending before you all decided to be in a relationship, or did you drop it on her after you were in a relationship?
She had known about it when I had told her about my gunshot wound to my arm.
Oh, so before you all got into a relationship?
No, it was after our relationship. We had gotten into a relationship after the incident.
See, here's the thing. I don't know why people continue to let people meet their publicists instead of their true selves, because the right way to do things, you should have sat down with her and say, I would love to be in a relationship with you. Let me tell you what's going on in my life. I have a pending aggravated robbery, because maybe she would have said, you know what? I want to be in a relationship with you, but we shouldn't have children at this point in time because we don't know what's going to happen with your case. Instead, you all go out and decide to have a relationship, have a child that's months old, then come to the court and use the child for the court as judge. I want to be a father to my child. I don't want my child not to have a father. And then bringing an infant down here who's that age, as I said, to a nasty courtroom. This courtroom is filled with germs. The only other place that's probably has more germ is the jail and the hospital. My grandmother would always say, when you go to the hospital, you need to get out as quickly as possible because it's filled with germs. And no matter how they try to clean it, it's true. So then you want to bring a baby here for me to see, oh, cute little baby, don't take its father away.
Your Honor, honestly, we didn't have somebody to watch her. The person who left was our ride here. And that
I hope that wasn't a complete stranger you all had watching the baby.
No, yeah.
I hope it's somebody you can trust.
Yes,
I hope it's somebody you all did a background check on.
yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. With regards to the amount that's owed to the complainant in this case, I see an amount that was paid to victims of crime compensation fund of $24,000. And I'm assuming that's the amount that was due the complainant.
Your Honor, I did see that the complainant didn't respond to the PSI report. So the state would say that that's the portion that's owed back to the victims.
Okay.
Compensation.
All right. So I'm sorry, counsel, you may continue.
I actually don't remember where I left off, Your Honor. Well, I guess,
You were telling me about his history and that you learned about his physical abuse that happened to him as he told the court
Yes.
today.
and just knowing that the impact that had on his life and the spiral that drew him down. I don't know. And so he's reaching out to the court, Your Honor, for a chance, not only to stay out of prison, but to be a better person. He wants to learn these things. He wants to go to counseling. He wants to be a better person. And I think that in terms of from other people that I've seen come through this criminal justice system, I think that is a big improvement in terms of, others that, and just to show to the court that he's not here to play around. He's not here to just simply ask for a chance. He is begging for that chance and asking for an opportunity to be a better person and be a better father, and to make things right as best as he can.
All right. State. All right. Mr. Brinkley, I want to let you know that I listened to everything. I've internalized everything. I listened to your mother. I know you had a bad upbringing. I know that your mother did not complete her service plan. That's why her rights were terminated, or that's right, the reason she decided to relinquish, because I know in CPS cases, you have up to a year to get your life in order. They give you a year where you actually have a free babysitter, and all you have to do is do your parenting classes, stay clean and sober. I'm sure she had a choice to make, because I would tell my clients all the time over there, either you want your man or you want your children. Who do you choose? And they would always tell me, oh no, I want my children. Next thing you know, what ends up happening? They're back with the man, and their children have to go wherever they go because they get their rights terminated. So I understand. I understand your upbringing was bad. I understand that you have a baby that you want to be there for, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
But I have to balance things and look at both things. Nothing really stopped you from your criminal activities because you said you were car hopping. And I appreciate the fact that you're being 100% honest with the court. Sentencing is about one of the things, it's for rehabilitation, right? But it's also for punishment. Even when I place people on probation, yes, I want them to get rehabilitated, but it's also for punishment. And in your case, if I send you to prison, it's punishment and rehabilitation. This case is going to be a prison case. I know that you are young, but you will still have time to live your life. I'm going to find you guilty, sentence you to 8 years in the prison. There's credit for any time served, $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent, take in consideration 2022 CR 5308, 2023 CR 0224. There's to be no contact with Martin Hernandez, affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There's to be restitution to the victim of crime compensation fund in the amount of $24,630.40. Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. We can go off the record. Here's the thing, you're young. I know this seems like a lot of time, and any time behind bars is a lot of time, but make use of your time. Don't become institutionalized, learn. You'll still be able to get out of prison and be in your child's life. You understand?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. Travis Murphy.
That's fine, Judge. He wasn't ordered this morning. He's in custody. I think he's supposed to be ASAP over. The state has not made an offer. We're still kind of digging through discovery. Travis indicated because it's an aggravated offense, and he said coordinate with Brittany, who's in trial and impact.
Yes. So what discovery is missing?
No. So we're still digging through it. I don't know that anything's missing.
Oh,
We're still
okay.
reviewing it.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. On Travis Murphy, I need a 30-day reset. At that time, state you need to be prepared to make an offer.
Understood, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
What date?
July 20th.
All right, July 20th. Thank you. All right, see you then. Yes. All right, thank you. You're welcome. All right, who's here on Juan Morales?
Hey, Judge.
All right, Juan Morales.
It's a very similar response, Judge.
All right, just one moment. Mr. Morales, you were late.
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
I rode my bike in.
Oh, is this a motorcycle or a bicycle?
Bicycle.
Oh, well, thanks for helping out with the environment. So what route did you take?
It's 19th Street to Buena Vista, and then Buena Vista down.
Okay,
So
how was the heat?
Not bad. It was really humid. Then when I got here, it changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll note on the docket sheet that you're a bicycle rider, so.
Added.
Are you one of those bicyclists who don't obey the rules of the road? Thank you for that.
Then even when I drive, then I see them, I'm like, I stop and put some lights on. You're taking us 10 steps back for everything that we made forward.
All right, thank you for that. All right, so discovery.
I think we have it all, Judge. Although, in fact, I think I have discovery that doesn't even apply to this case, as we discovered this morning. But kind of going through it, there might be a search issue. The state and I both are going to do our homework on this one, and there's no offer yet. We're going to get our heads together on it.
All right. Ms. Ferguson, can we recall this on the 20th as well? All right, so we're going to come back on the 20th and you all need to discover if there's a search issue and discover whether or not you have all discovery. All right, thank you. Once you sign the reset form, you are excused. Hey, you may want to get on the bicycle before high noon,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
as they say in Once Upon a Time of the West.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Eric Diaz.
He's in the back, Your Honor. He has a warrant.
Okay, you need to wait to bring him out.
Well, he's right here, held right here.
Oh, okay, yes. Hello.
Hello.
All right, so we're here for discovery.
Well, we're trying to solve the first issue, Judge. He's in the box because the state filed a fugitive case that's appears to be identical to the one that he's in court for, so.
Yes, Your Honor, I've looked into that. We're gonna enter a dismissal on the new case. It looks like there was some confusion and the case was filed.
All right, so this is the 2023 CR 4947.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so
Mr. Gonzalez could give Mr. Diaz an apology as well, that'd be great.
oh, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Diaz. They're telling me that a case was filed in error. So the state is tendering in dismissal.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just a little confused. That's all.
Yeah, I think your attorney will help you clear up your confusion. Is that correct?
That's correct. And Judge, on the case that we're here for today.
Just 1 second. Let me do one thing at a time. You know, it's like Temptations, ball of confusion. We're going to unravel it. Oh, thank you. And let me just see here. Here, our counsel. And I can tell you, I don't think Travis was the person who indicted this. So.
The bang up job that intercepts.
So he did not do it. All right, so with regards to this case where there's discovery, we're here for discovery.
This is the first appearance on the case, Judge. I got appointed a little less than a month ago. So I'd like a chance to confer with the state and with the client.
Okay, so where are we on discovery?
No idea.
So you were just appointed?
A month ago.
May, okay.
And then it was set like 3 days later and the court said, let's push it back 30 days.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you give me a 30-day reset on this for discovery?
July 20th.
All right, we'll be back on July 20th. And Deputy Laura, his case has been dismissed. This is 2023 CR 2918. Yes. Cameron Lawrence. Cameron Lawrence. Paulton McMillan. All right.
You want him up here?
Yes.
McMillan, can you come up here, please?
All right, what is happening with this case? Oh, and Kelly, your client is not to leave until you all sign the form. You have it? Thanks. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's happening with this case?
Governor, if I may, I was supposed to be here on Tuesday. You allowed me to go to Hondo. And I appreciate that. My client came in today. It's our first setting. This is a violation of reporting, and my client had reported for 10 years. There's a discrepancy of whether there's a 10-year reporting or a lifetime out of a Michigan judgment that I would ask if I could get a reset to do a little bit of discovery to see what actually happened in Michigan. I can't tell from this.
All right, which county is it out of?
St. Clair.
It's like, What state, what city is St. Clair?
For you in Michigan, St. Clair County.
Oh, Michigan.
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, all right. And state, I'm assuming you have some information on that.
The state's discovery.
Because I think in the state will need it if they indicted it. So
There's a judgment in there, Your Honor, that I can't read.
Yeah, I mean, according to the prosecution guide, the duty is a lifetime duty, and so that's the confusion, is the detective. Said with that, and trying to find.
all right, Ms. Ferguson, recall this for 45 days and you all need to have that figured out by then.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, just 1 second. What date? It's for discovery for them to get the judgment out of Michigan.
August 3rd.
All right, we're going to come back on August 3rd, sign the reset form, and then you're excused.
Good. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. And if it's not printed correctly, I'm sure if you all call the prosecutors in Michigan, they will fax or forward or email you all what they have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge, I don't know if we still have a line, but something else I needed to approach you on.
Yeah, just 1 second. Stephen Walbacher. Who's the attorney? Okay. Probation, this is an application. Court is calling 2023 CR 0889, State of Texas versus Stephen Wayne Walbacher. If I could have parties announced for the record for the state. Defense.
Ron Ross.
And are you Mr. Walbacher? Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I have, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Walbacher, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes.
All right, you're gonna have to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Judge, we're waiving count 1, proceeding on count 2, and then waiving the enhancement paragraph.
Any objection?
No, Judge.
Showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand in count 2, you're charged with the offense of possession with intent to deliver?
I think that was count 1, Judge.
It's count 1.
Oh, we need to change that. Any objection to the court changing? Okay.
No objection, Judge.
Did you understand in count 2, you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 to 200 grams, if y'all can initial. That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea, thank you, will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, he has.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense? Mr. Walbacher, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 8 years in the prison. The state is silent on your application. They will take in consideration 2023 CR 0888. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense? State?
Yes, Judge.
Showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
And did you sign it in both places?
Yes.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, have there been any such motions?
Yes, ma'am, we got a motion to suppress.
Okay. Then to the offenses charged in count 2, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence?
State offers State Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
No objection.
You may be excused. Showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments. The court has reviewed the same. The court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. This will come back on August 10th, and that's when your PSI report will be completed. The court will base its decision on your application based upon the PSI report, which is a pre-sentence investigation, and any other evidence that's presented to the court. Counsel, is a TAP requested as well? A TAP evaluation?
It's not needed, I don't think.
Okay. Do you need a TAP evaluation? Do you have drug issues?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
All right. All right. So we'll do TAP evaluation. So Ms. Abrams, it'll be a PSI and TAP. All right. Thank you. Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form, and then before you leave, you'll need to speak with probation, so they'll give you instructions.
One more thing,
Yes.
when you denied the motion to suppress, I asked for findings of fact and conclusions of law, and you said you might have that by the time we.
Oh, it's already been filed.
Yeah.
Yes. So they'll be able to print that for you. You're welcome. Who's here on Francisco Luna? Who is the defense on this?
Stefan's in the hall.
Okay. Okay, who's the defense attorney? Okay. Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Do I need to go on make a phone call today? Okay, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to Google and make phone calls.
Say I don't think so, then I'll come with you.
All right, so
Just off the record,
yes,
first, and just to tell you, we have a writ of habeas corpus pending before this court was set to ask this court to consider setting aside a felony conviction that's from 1991 or two.
oh no, we were here on May and it was recalled for because council asked for more time on the writ.
Right.
So where are we?
So I have my writ and many exhibits in support that are marked, and the state has had a chance to review them. So I was going to present the exhibit, ask the court to take judicial notice of the file.
Oh, we're not on the record yet. So
Right.
I'm
But
just
just
saying.
to let you know.
All right.
And to present the exhibits to you by submission, to let you read over and consider. There's a couple of affidavits here, family photos, and many letters from friends and family. Then I have some argument. I also have Mr. Javier Maldonado here. who's an immigration attorney who can speak a little bit to the immigration issues. There was one thing that came up.
So let me just a moment.
Okay.
Is there going to be any objection?
We have no objection to the exhibits that Ms. Efron's going to be submitting. to the
Well, I
court.
mean, are you going to be objecting to the granting of it?
So right now, we are not prepared to take a position on it, Judge. We would remain silent and defer to the judgment of the court. That may,
So when will you be prepared to take a position on it?
so from what I understand, I think where we're going to leave today is that Ms. Efron's going to prepare something for the court, proposed findings. We can review that and we're going to let Ms. Efron and the court know if there's anything within those findings that we can agree to.
Okay, all right, then let's go on the record. And then you can submit whatever documentation you want to submit to me, and I'll have a chance to review it. And then whenever you want to prepare your findings, just turn those into the court and I'll review them as well. And then we can have it set. The only thing, the last week in June, I'm not going to be here. So I'll be with Mom.
And then there's one other issue. We were going to ask the court to maybe consider keeping the record open to see if I can one more time explore an issue and find something to present to the court.
All right, then here's the question. Do you all just want me to give you a reset and then you file the documents at that time when you explore whatever you need to explore? Or do you want to give me documentation now? It's completely up to you. If you want me to give you another date, I will give you another date. You just tell me what date you want it.
Okay. I'm actually okay either way with it. I don't mind if the court wants.
Which do you prefer?
Would you like to have the exhibits to review pending the reset?
Sure.
So what I was thinking is we'll submit to the court what I have by exhibit for to consider for now and come back on a reset date to close it out with.
All right. Well, let's do this.
But I don't mind if the court feels like a reset's better. I'm okay with that.
I mean, that may be best. So then I will have everything and everyone will have everything.
Okay.
And if you find your information beforehand and you want to come back earlier, we can always come back earlier because I don't want it to be hanging out there forever.
Right. No, neither do we.
All right. So what time frame do you want, Ms. Efron?
I guess I can look, I guess July sometime. I guess if the court doesn't mind, I can want to check with Mr. Maldonado to make sure. I mean, because the immigration issue, I thought a little bit of testimony from him on that would be helpful to the court.
Oh, he's spoken. I hope no one will ask for me to recuse myself. He's spoken at CLEs that I've been the director of before, so I'm aware of his acumen.
He told me that yesterday and I did not know that, but yes, he's definitely the kind of good.
Yes. So good morning. So I don't know if he's already written something or prepared something,
We
then
consider doing that too. Okay, he's on vacation mid-July.
oh, you all just confer with Ms. Ferguson. I'm here, so whatever dates you all want to put it on there,
Okay.
that's fine. And if there's no objection, both of you all have my email. If you have documents and you want to either email them to me so I can look at them beforehand, and then of course we can always admit it into evidence. But if somebody's going to have an objection to me looking at documents that are not technically and legally in evidence, then I won't do it. But that would probably make it easier.
Right. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, everything that we were going to be talking about today has already been submitted to the court as attachments to the writ. We have no objections to those, and I think that's everything we've discussed so far.
There may be one or two additional things, but they're in this. I'll talk about it. I'll make sure that they have reviewed and include them, of course, in all the emails. But I do think there's a lot that has probably been attached to the actual writ.
All right, then if you all will get together and confer with Ms. Ferguson and she'll give you a date.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Norma, do you know what the date is? And put at parties with us. Okay.
Brandon Pena. See, I call in the order in which they're here.
Oh,
Where's Pena?
he's in the box, Judge.
All right, come down, please.
So this is one Norma asked me to help out with this morning. I talked to Mr. Pena, introduced myself, went through his MTR. He's indicated his family is seeking to hire.
Mhm.
Which I don't know if you remember, my vacation letter starts next week.
Mhm.
So if you need to appoint on the same day somebody
When
else,
will
that's-
you be back?
That's fine. July 17th. And I don't think it's fair for him to hang around for a month.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt if you want to reassign it.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. He's gonna be on vacation. I'm gonna want this set. Well, you know what? If we set it for a contested, will you be prepared when you come back
Yeah.
for a contested hearing?
Yes, Judge, it's, I'll tell you what it is. It's not reporting, and it's absconding from treatment. Those are the allegations.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. Can you set this for a contested hearing the week of July 17th? All right, what date?
I can do the 20th.
All right,
20th is getting real ugly for me, Judge. It's piling up pretty bad.
I can do the 27th.
or either,
Which I think was the last date, I'm sorry.
let me ask you this. I know we have other things scheduled, but is it possible to put it on the 19th at 9 a.m.? And Mr. Alexander, if we put it on the 19th, it's exactly at 9 a.m. because that's our jury trial date.
Oh, okay. Okay, Judge.
So,
And you just gotta make sure that the defendant said he's gonna hire
oh,
somebody.
no. Here's the thing, Mr. Pena. That date is July 19th. This is what that means. Whoever you hire needs to be ready for a contested hearing on that day. There will not be any resets without good cause, and the 19th will give whoever you hire more than 10 days to prepare for a contested hearing. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Norma, and can you make sure he has a reset form in case he bonds out? All right, thank you. Who's here on Ronald Rodriguez? Are y'all ready to proceed? All right, we're going to go on the record. The court is calling 2023 CR 0529 and 2023 CR 0531, State of Texas versus Ronald Rodriguez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Travis Banks, of the state of Texas.
Defense?
Milton Butler representing Ronald Rodriguez.
And are you Ronald Rodriguez?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each of the cause numbers, I'm going to show you what's entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you the same Roland Rodriguez who was placed on community supervision in 2023 CR 0529 for the offense of assault family second offense on March 6, 2023 for a term of 8 years?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you the same Ronald Roland Rodriguez who was placed on community supervision in 2023 CR 0531 for the offense of assault family choking strangulation on March 6, 2023 for a term of 8 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any objection to the state reading the allegation and the defendant answering true or not true in both motions? All right, state.
The allegation in both motions is violated condition number 25 on or about the 21st day of March 2023 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Ronald Roland Rodriguez, defendant there directly or indirectly contact the victim and or the victim's family of his offense without the court's and or the supervision officer's authorization in violation of condition number 25.
How do you plead to that in each cause number? True or not true?
True. And the state will waive and abandon the other allegations in both.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No objection.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation 25 and cause number 2023 CR 0529? The court could grant the motion and sentence you up to 8 years in prison.
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition 25?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 25 and that cause number true. Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 25 and cause number 2023 CR 0531? The court could find it true, grant the motion and sentence you up to 8 years in prison.
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true in that cause number?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then in that cause number, the court will find it true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, the agreement is that you grant the motion and revoke the community supervision and sentence the defendant to 2 years in TDC in both cases. Sentences to run concurrently. And taking that into consideration, Your Honor, the state and defense, or the state is submitting a motion to dismiss or reject night mag number 712-695.
That is the agreement, Your Honor.
And what is 712695?
And evading arrest second amendment.
All right, anything you wish to say, Mr. Rodriguez?
Your Honor.
All right, in each cause number, the court will grant the motion, find you guilty. In each cause number, they were one concurrent. In each cause number, there's an affirmative finding of family violence. And in cause number 2023 CR 0531, there is to be no contact with Hannah Barnes, Barnes. And in cause number 2023 CR 0529, there's to be no contact with Hannah Barnes. The court will take in consideration night mag number 712. Thank you. 695. And in each cause number, there's an affirmative finding of family violence. And in each cause number, the court is going to sentence you to 10 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served.
Your Honor, it was 2 years.
Oh, no, I know. I'm not following that agreement.
Well, then we would like a test hearing.
No, I asked him if he understood by pleading true that the court doesn't have to follow any agreement. The court could sentence him up to 8 years in prison. Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal.
You can only get 8 years, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, 8 years. That's what I gave him, 8 years in each cause number.
I gave you 10 years.
No, I gave him 8 years. So it can be clear in each cause number, I'm granting the motion, finding you guilty, sentence you to 8 years in the prison. The cause numbers will run concurrent. There's an affirmative finding of family violence, no contact with Hannah Barnes. In each cause number, I'm showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's right to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? All right, you do have a limited right to appeal, and that right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motions, not the fact that you were on community supervision. Because this is a felony conviction, because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney.
Want to say something? Aaron?
Sure.
The reason why I did not take the probation again was because I did try contacting my probation officer, and the reason why I went over there was to get my ID and my social, to get my SSI money to pay for the monitor to be on probation. And I contacted my probation officer, left email, phone numbers. They never contacted me back. I even went in there and they scheduled me a new probation officer. And I was trying to do everything that I was supposed to do.
You're not supposed to have any contact, and I clearly put that in my motions.
And I went to her mother's house to pick up my stuff, and she just happened to be there, so that's why I left. I didn't go there intentionally knowing that he was gonna be there at her mother's house. I needed that documents to pay for my monitor to be on probation.
Mhm.
I didn't want any of this to happen. And the reason why I took the 2 years was because I didn't want to have to go through all this miscommunication.
Yeah.
Like I went to do my.
Let me just explain something to you. You were on probation for an assault family second violation, which means there was a previous conviction of assault family second. And you were also on probation for choking.
Yes, ma'am.
And I ordered no contact. And when I say no contact, I mean no contact.
Yes, ma'am, but I never contacted her.
All right.
I went to her mother's house.
All right, thank you. All right, who's here on Edward Murray? All right, what's happening with this case?
The state tendered an offer. My client has countered that offer, and there's just, I would assume there's just some discovery probably needs to be reviewed to consider that offer. That's what I've been told by the state. They just
I'm probably gonna make
Consider
a
it.
decision here in the next couple of minutes, Judge, so I think this just got called up, right?
Yeah,
All right, Ms. Ferguson. On Mary, can I have a 30-day reset for a plea deadline date?
Thank you, Judge.
All right, what date? You're welcome.
I can do, July 20th.
All right, we'll see you on July 20th. Renee Cantu. All right, Renee Cantu. Where's Renee Cantu? Okay. Sure. All right, while he's doing that, is the person here on Christopher Trinidad? Where's Christopher Trinidad?
He's in custody, Judge, and Kingston being brought over.
He's right there.
Oh,
Have you
okay.
talked to him?
No, I haven't had the opportunity.
All right. So they're not waiting on that. Cameron Lawrence. The attorney for Cameron Lawrence.
It's that, that case is, he's in federal custody.
Okay.
And I sent out an email to our clerk to find out exactly what's going on. It's, I think, Orlando Castillo.
All right.
Back later.
All right, Norma, on Cameron Lawrence, he's in federal custody with a pending felon in possession case
Well,
on the federal side
yeah, but it's an ag assault also.
and an aggravated assault. Can you recall this in 45 days?
Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay, no problem. What date?
This is on August 10th.
All right. So we'll be back on August
We
10th.
should get an answer.
All right, thank you. All right, who's here on Jose Diaz? Yes.
He actually didn't make it on your docket, even though he's in the system set for today.
Ah, yeah, there was an issue. So it says that he was found incompetent or found competent.
He was found competent. Yeah, we were here a week or so ago, and you did a fast turnaround.
Okay.
I think it's 7:01. Travis, I think, wasn't available because he was in trial. I think Brittany was out. You didn't want him to decompensate, so you brought it back.
Yes.
Real fast.
So what's happening with this case?
There is an affidavit that was filed by the complainant on her own back in November, I guess, and it seems like no one's looked at it yet.
Okay.
It's an aggravated case. He's also enhanced his habitual. Travis emailed Brittany this morning to figure out how she wants to proceed with this, but of course she's in trial and impact.
So how long would a jury trial take in this case?
I would expect 2 to 3 days, Your Honor.
All right, so Norma, let's give them a jury trial date. And that will be your jury trial date and plea deadline date. If anyone wants to bring the case back sooner, you can. But because he's been found competent, I don't want him to decompensate. All right, what date, Ms. Ferguson? And Norma, sooner rather than later. Thank you. All right, July 25th. All right.
That would be excusable.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, which page is DS on?
On the docket.
Ah, okay. Renee Cantu?
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right, so what's happening with this case?
Judge, there are several cases that are unindicted that we don't have the drug labs back yet.
All right. And what level felonies are those cases?
It's assortment of first and second degree felonies.
I'm sorry, what?
It's an assortment of first and second degree felonies.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, we're going to recall this in 45 days. You all need to confer and sign out, find out if you're going to make a package deal. What I can tell y'all, if there's some cases that are hanging out there, this case has already been indicted, so it will go. All right, Ms. Ferguson, a 45-day reset, and we'll just put it as a discovery.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. Wait, you need to know what your date is.
Duh.
All right, we'll be back on August 1st. And Ms. Ferguson will sign the reset form. You're excused once you sign the reset form.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Robert Alvarez. Court is calling 2023 CR 0168C, State of Texas versus Robert Alvarez. Could our parties announce for the record for the state? Defense?
Douglas Catmire.
Are you Mr. Alvarez?
Yes, ma'am.
You entered a plea on April 24th of guilty to the offense of burglary of a habitation theft. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. You applied for deferred adjudication. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI and TAP evaluation? Any objections to either?
No, Your Honor.
All right, according to your plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 5 years in the prison, and the state is silent on your applications. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
Yes, I'd like to call Mr. Alvarez.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Robert Alvarez.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Father passed away when you were about 13 or 14 years old.
Yes.
And was that a painful cancer death?
Yes.
And were you shot a few years ago?
Yes.
And the bullet is still lodged near your spine, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And they cannot dislodge it for fear of paralysis?
They can, but they have fear that it will cause maybe paralysis.
And did you get addicted to prescription pills at this time?
Yes, sir.
And that accident and your addiction to prescription painkillers, did that lead us to where we are today?
Yes, sir.
And are you willing to follow any and all treatment recommendations that were done, recommended in the PSI, whatever the judge asked you to do?
Yes, I'll take anything.
Which would include inpatient if necessary?
Yes, sir.
And you have a job waiting for you when you get out of treatment, if that is what is ordered?
Yes, sir, too.
And do you have a place to live?
Yes, sir.
And where is that?
University, 221 Parkland,
I'm sorry, sir, I need to speak up.
221 Parkland.
And that's what your mother and your aunt, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pass it, please.
All right, any questions, state?
No, Judge.
Your Honor, I have one more witness to call if I could.
Well, I have a question if there are no objections.
Nothing to say.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Alvarez, I see here that you went into a home and you stole a vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then the police, I guess, were trying to apprehend you and you crashed the vehicle into a marked patrol unit.
Yes, ma'am. I was driving, but yes, ma'am.
All right. And then you and the people you were with all took off running on foot.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So your injury that you have does not affect your ability to run.
No.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Why are you doing this?
When I get off when I take the Xanax, I tend to get like a mentality of fast money, a fast way to get good money to help my mom out. And
Well, I'm sure your mom doesn't want you stealing.
no, man.
Your Honor, I don't believe you suffered still from the injury. It was the addiction to the drugs from the pain pills that I was alluding to, Your Honor.
Okay.
That spiraled us here to this drug addiction.
All right. And I see that he has a number of burglary of vehicles pending. Is this the correct person that's standing before me from the PSI report? That he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 burglary of vehicles are pending? Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
And then engaging in organized crime. Well, I'm sorry, 7 burglary of vehicles pending. Evading arrest, which I'm assuming was this foot chase. And engaging in organized crime. Is that correct?
I believe that sounds correct, Your Honor.
All right. I just want to make sure I had the correct person. All right, who's your next witness?
I call his brother Roland Alvarez.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Roland Alvarez.
All right, defense.
How are you related to Robert Alvarez?
I'm his older brother. He's my younger brother.
And after Roland was shot, did you notice any changes in him? Robert was shot, I'm sorry.
Yes, I did notice that the medication they had him on, kind of had him a little bit more distant, caught him a little bit more foggy as far as focus. And I did see that I could tell that it was taking like an effect on his personality overall, even though I know it was meant to help with the pain of the wound.
Do you think that led to a drug addiction with other illegal drugs?
I believe so, because just growing up around a lot of people with drug addictions, I do know how pain meds, even though they're medically prescribed, can cause addiction and can lead to addiction to where you get tolerated to it and you need something else for the pain and you just keep going higher and higher. Though I don't agree that that's the best way to go, I do understand that that's a possible route. And I do believe that's what's happening with my brother.
You believe that he needs inpatient treatment?
I would believe so. I think inpatient treatment would be great for him, just because I know the programs they have out here, and him being able to be in there with groups and people to be able to guide him in the right direction, I think will be the best thing for him. Because I think it's more positive out here. There's more resources out here in the inpatient than it is incarcerated that would be available to him to be able to help him with rehabilitation with drugs and different other things mentally.
To your knowledge, is he going to be able to live with his mother if he is granted probation and he does or does not go to treatment?
Sorry, so can you speak up?
Yes, ma'am. If he goes to treatment and he gets back, do you know if he can live with his mother?
Yes, sir. He has a place to stay as soon as he gets out.
And do you know of any potential employment opportunities for him?
Yes, he could either work with me by Tesco Technologies, or he has another job opportunity with my cousin's boyfriend, who is a master welder, and he has agreed to take him as an apprentice, teach him a welding trade.
And you heard previously asked about your father's death. Was that pretty hard on the family?
Yes, sir, because my dad has always been there. It was kind of like a quick shocker with the cancer, kind of came real quick, drained him out. And, my dad was a big glue to our family. And I know it put my mom in years of depression. They've been married over 40 years. And my brother, he was real young. He was a young teen, my younger sister as well. And even me at my older age, it still affects me to this day. I think with anybody losing somebody close to them, it still affects them throughout their life.
Are you asking the court to grant your brother's application for deferred adjudication?
Yes, sir. I would like to just ask the judge, please grant this, though I don't justify or agree with crimes. And I do know your job is to, like you said earlier, assess punishment and also rehabilitation. But I asked that you give him the opportunity out here because he's still young. He's not a career criminal. He hasn't had this in the past. And I just think that, yes, he made bad decisions, but I don't think those bad decisions define who he is as an individual. And I think a lot of it started with the drug addiction, and it led him down a bad path. And I just hope and pray that within treatment, it will help them overcome that, give them better resources, how to deal with that, better ways to deal with the pain, because there are professionals there to train to be able to help people with that. And that's what I'm really hoping will help my brother, not just for the short term, but for the long term.
That's all I have, Pass.
Any questions?
No, good.
What's the circumstances surrounding his shooting?
That I know of, because I work a lot, is that he was at a friend's house and someone had came over and was like, had a gun and was kind of like flashing around and playing with it. And apparently it went off. It wasn't like an attack or anything like that. It was some guy playing with the gun, showing it off, and it went off and it went in the direction of my brother and hit him. And I guess the exit wound, I guess the bullet traveled, according to the doctors, and kind of lodged back there. So it was kind of like a surprise, some kid just not being smart. Number one, for having one, and then number two, for playing around with one as if it's not dangerous.
Okay.
Could have lost his life.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other witnesses?
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. On this case, bring it back next week and I'll make a decision at that time. I have some things to think about.
I'll coordinate with the coordinator.
Oh, she's going to tell you.
Tuesday, Judge?
Yes, Tuesday,
Yes, sir.
the 20th. So I'll see you back on the 20th and I'll make a decision at that time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Will you talk to-
Thank you.
All right, Fabian Cardenas.
They're holding amendment.
Okay. Thanks for waiting patiently.
Oh, nice break from
Mhm.
over there.
All right. All right, so have you all had a chance to confer on the bond?
Yeah, yes, Judge, we came to an agreement on the bond.
Okay.
The state and I agreed to a $20,000 bond, which doubles the original evading. And I wanted to let the court know that on the night mag endangering case, the bond was set at $75,000 and he did make that bond. The second that this warrant hit, he's been in constant communication with our office. We are writing his bond. And we basically, because of my schedule, he's been coming down every day and I've been so busy that it's kind of my fault that I haven't turned him in earlier, Judge, but he's always been in communication with us. And so we were just asking the court to follow our agreement and set the bond at 20,000.
All right, we're going to go on the record. Court is calling 2022 CR 11171, State of Texas versus Fabian Lee Cardenas. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Travis Banks, the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Amy Owen for Fabian Cardenas.
All right. So we're here for setting a bond. The court will note that the defendant is on deferred adjudication out of this court. So the defendant is entitled to a bond because there has been no conviction in his case. So the court must set a bond for him. Have both parties had a chance to review his criminal history and come to an agreement?
Yes.
And my understanding, you all are asking that the bond be set at what price?
$20,000, Your Honor.
All right. And my understanding, the new case is an injury case. Is that correct?
Endangering a child at the state jail.
Okay. All right, then your bond is going to be set at $20,000. There's going to be full GPS. The court will ask that the fees be waived or deferred. Are there any children in the home where he's living?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So I'm going to do, based upon the new offense, I'm going to do a no contact with minors. Is there anything else from either side?
Your Honor, would the court consider a less restrictive means as instead of GPS, like weekly reporting? He's been in contact even with his probation officer. I spoke with him this morning. Would the court consider that?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And what date do you all want to come back for the motion to revoke?
Oh, for the MTR?
Yes. And I'll just set it as a contested, but then if it's not a contested, then it will not be a contested.
If we could have 30 days, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Fabian Cardenas, can you set it for in 30 days for a contested hearing?
And Your Honor, it's my understanding that then he would be transported to the jail to get outfitted for the GPS, right, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay.
July 20th.
All right, so we'll be back on July 20th. And Ms. Fergus, can you make sure you give him a reset form so he'll know the date?
Yes, sir.
And counsel, if you want to come back at a later date with regards to the full GPS and maybe allowing him to work, just let the court know
Yes.
and we'll set it.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Norma, you said July when? 20th, okay. All right, I can tell I'm not the one who placed him on probation because this is not my writing. I usually write a whole 3 paragraphs for people, which is the reason why Deputy Laura says probation is not easy here. All right, if there's nothing else, then you all are excused.
Thank you, Anna. Have a great day.
All right, thank you, you too. Who's here on Vanessa Castillo?
I'm present.
Are y'all ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, probation, there's no application. Court is calling 2023 CR 5104W, State of Texas versus Vanessa Castillo. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Julie Pollock from this field.
And are you Vanessa Castillo?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Castillo, I'm going to show you a document entitled Waiver of Indictment, Reading of Information and Rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Did you understand you have a right to have a grand jury hear the evidence in this case and make a decision on whether or not to indict?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand your attorney has the right to have a passage of 2 entire days after service of the indictment or information and 10 days to prepare for trial? Did you understand by entering to a plea bargain agreement today, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this cause number?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived indictment, reading of information and rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Showing you the information, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the information?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the information as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of failure to stop and render aid in a moving vehicle? The range of punishment for that offense is not more than 5 years in the prison, not less than 1 year in the Bexar County Jail, and a fine not to exceed $5,000. Did you understand? If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent? You need to speak up.
Yes, sir.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I believe she does.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Castillo, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea? Oh, it goes to her hand. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
no.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes,
Are you a U.S. citizen?
yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived a right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the prison. There are no applications, and this will run concurrent with 2022 CR 3840. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged in the information, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? How do you plead?
No contest.
All right, to the offense, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? All right, you're gonna have to keep your voice up. I cannot hear you. The court reporter cannot hear you. How do you plead?
No contest.
State any evidence
Your Honor, I submit State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
No objection.
showing you waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court will sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. This will run concurrent with 2022 CR 3840. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, I'm showing you what's entitled, we're going to proceed in 2022 CR 3840, showing you what's entitled First Amendment Motion to Revoke Community Supervision and Motion to Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them? Are you the same Vanessa Castillo who was placed on community supervision in 2022 CR 3840 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams on August 9th, 2022 for a term of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Your Honor, I submit State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
Oh, we're on the motion to revoke.
Sorry, Judge.
That's okay. Which one are you proceeding on? State. Here you go.
Sorry, Judge.
No problem.
Judge, violated condition number 1
on or about the 16th day of April 2023 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Vanessa Castillo committed the offense of fail to stop and render aid in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Your Honor, we waived the other violations alleged in the MTR.
Any objections to the waivers?
No objection.
All right. Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 3 years in the prison and $1,000 fine? Did you understand?
Sorry.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
Your Honor, we're asking that Your Honor, we're asking for revocation and 2 years incarceration to run concurrent with cause number 2023 CR 5104W.
Is that the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you asking the court to follow that agreement? Are you waiving your right to appeal? All right, the court will follow your agreement. The court will grant the motion, sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. This will run concurrent with 2023 CR 5104W, showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. You're gonna have to make better decisions. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, Judge.
Oh, no problem. All right, everyone, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break.
Judge, may I approach?
After 5 minutes.
It would take 30 seconds.
After 5 minutes. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, who are you approaching now, Mr. Leal?
Mr. Trinidad, Judge.
Mr. Trinidad, come down, please. All right, so where are we on the discovery?
We're okay, Judge. We got our discovery and we're just asking for a late deadline.
All right, have you received an offer? And your
Yes, sir.
client
Yes.
needs to be in the center, sir.
Okay. And I communicated that over with my client.
All right, let me give you a reset date for a plea deadline date. All right, we're gonna put your plea deadline date on July 20th.
Perfect, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You said perfect, but I didn't see you write it in your calendar.
No, I mean, I'm going to because I told him too many things.
Okay. All right, is Eugene Boyd here?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, are you all ready to go on that one?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, could I see the file on Boyd? Let me see. I have it. Thank you. All right, Mr. Boyd, come on down.
Your Honor.
Yes.
So if you had an opportunity here, other documents that I put in there.
These?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Boyd,
Yes, ma'am.
here's the issue. I referred you to felony drug court, and I see that you say that you can't do it because it's too much to do. But they're recommending inpatient treatment for you. So either you're going into inpatient treatment, or if you don't want to do it, you can be revoked and go to prison.
Well, that wasn't an agreement with the attorney. Attorney, she and I, what I asked the attorney, Miss Christian, I said, well, the police officer, they beat me up. I went to the emergency room and I brought it to her attention. I said, well, since I got beat up, and she showed me the police report, the police officer said that I fell from a gazebo.
All right, so here's the thing, Mr. Boyd. I've been a defense attorney, and this is what I always would tell my clients. Sometimes when they would tell me that they've been injured by the police, I would tell them the injury by the police, that may be a separate issue for you to file a civil suit, but that doesn't excuse a possession case. So you're here for possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams.
Right.
According to the plea bargain agreement that you signed up for, they're going to take some items into consideration, which they did, which wasn't evading. And there's supposed to be a TAP evaluation. The TAP evaluation is a treatment alternative to incarceration program. Basically, what that is that someone discusses with you any addictions you have. And then what ends up happening is based upon the answers that you've given, based upon your history, they make a determination of whether you should do inpatient treatment or outpatient treatment. Their determination was that you do inpatient treatment. I always send people who have drug issues to felony drug court. Well, not always. I'd say like 90% of the time, because it's a good program. You're telling me you do not want felony drug court. I've read your letter where you say you can't do it because it's taking too much time out of your life. So since you don't want to do felony drug court and you refuse that, then the next step for you is for inpatient treatment. So those are your options. You can either do inpatient treatment or you can go to prison. So either way, you're going to be doing time. So do you want to do your time addressing your addiction issues, or do you just want to do your time as an inmate? It's completely up to you.
Well, from my understanding, I mean, my attorney said that I was going to be 5 years probation. She did not say that I was going to go to inpatient treatment.
All right. What do you think probation is?
Staying clean and reporting every month.
Oh. And as part of probation, I have to give you conditions so that you will be successful at probation. For example, if you have a drug issue, what would I look like giving you probation and saying, good luck to you, thank you? Probation is more than, here's a sheet of paper saying you're on probation, go live your life and do whatever you want to do. Probation is, you're on probation, you have to report, you have to provide clean UAs, you have to go to inpatient treatment. Those are conditions of probation. So those are your choices, Mr. Boyd. You can, 1, go to inpatient treatment, 2, see if felony drug court will accept you back, or 3, go to prison. Those are your options.
So what if felony court doesn't accept me?
Oh, then you're going to do inpatient treatment or either go to prison.
That's crazy, man. I'm lucky to be alive today because same police officer harassed me twice in 2 weeks, beat me up, and I'm here because of this.
Well, here's the thing. Are you unless you're saying with this case, police officers planted drugs on you, you are still guilty of possession, and those issues have to be addressed.
So does that give them the right to beat me up?
No, it does not. Here's the thing. What I'm trying to explain to you is there are 2 separate issues that you may have. 1 is you're on probation. I've given you conditions. 2, you say the police treated you badly. That's something that you handle on the civil suit. That's not something that you come to me and say, I don't want to go to inpatient treatment because the police officers beat me up. Is there anything else?
That's it. I mean, guess I have to go with the inpatient treatment.
All right. So you can do inpatient treatment, or either I can send you back to felony drug court. What do you wish?
I'll go back to felony drug court.
All right. Ms. Abrams, can you see if felony drug court will accept him back? And that's to happen while in custody. If they say no, then he's to go to inpatient treatment according to the TAP recommendations. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Norma, on Ernest Morales. That's with Anita Garza.
I think I was taking care of yesterday.
Okay, thank you. And Christopher Caballero. Yes, I do. All right. These are items that he wishes to have back in his possession.
Yes, Your Honor.
State.
State would oppose returning the guns, the firearms to him.
All right. We can go on the record. Are you prepared to proceed with the hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to go on the record in 2019 CR 10379, State of Texas versus Christopher Caballero. Can our parties announce for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense?
Ruben Designer for the defendant.
And are you Mr. Caballero?
Yes.
All right, you're requesting back the following property: a loaded Springfield Armory XD9 9mm handgun with 1 magazine and 12 live rounds, a Sega 7.62mm rifle with 1 magazine and 10 live rounds. And it's the court's understanding that cause number 2019 CR 10379 was dismissed, but it was dismissed because this was a pretrial diversion. Is that correct?
That's our understanding, Judge.
All right. Are both parties ready to proceed, state?
Yes, Judge.
Defense?
Yes, Judge.
All right. State, are you in agreement with the returning of the property?
No, Your Honor, we are opposing returning the property. This was, again, as the court already mentioned, this was a part of the pretrial diversion program. As a policy, our office disapproves of returning firearms.
Our policy is.
To oppose returning firearms.
All right. Defense?
Your Honor, simply for the fact that the case was, he did resolve his case appropriately. He was successful and the case got dismissed. We don't see any evidentiary value or any reason other than just the desire to take his guns away, necessary in this particular situation. He did buy those guns. They were under his name. He purchased them legally and had no legal reason why he couldn't own guns at the time. They were, seized during the search of his home. However that might have been conducted, but we would just ask that if he could have his, personal property that he, spent money on. Return to him.
All right. So what is the essence of a pretrial diversion? Is pretrial diversion, you committed the offense, but you are being given the chance to do classes or whatever that's asked of you. And if you complete those, then your case will be dismissed. Is that the crux of pretrial diversion, or is there something else involved?
I'd say that's a good majority of what is required. The only thing is, I think it's just a set term and then some community service hours.
All right.
Your Honor, as you described PDD, that's how I understand it. I do understand that as your job is also to administer, punishment as you see fit or enforce the laws. And in this particular situation, he completed his course, his pretrial diversion successfully. And as far as any further rehabilitation or further punishment, I just don't see his guns, being kept from him, being a problem, since this case was a possession of a controlled substance case. While guns could be
With
involved,
intent
they
to
were at his
deliver
home.
4,200 grams,
Yes,
which
Your
is a
Honor.
first-degree felony?
I would like to mention they weren't on him at the time or anything like that.
Were they at his home?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So does anyone have any case law that says the court is required to return these weapons?
No, Your Honor, that's your decision.
All right. Does anyone know if any case law exists?
Off the top of my head, I'd say no, Judge. I'm not aware.
All right. So if you all would like to have a chance before I make my ruling to see if their case law, I'm not aware of case law that says if someone completes a pretrial diversion, that the weapons that were seized are supposed to be returned. I can understand, and there will be no issue with the court if the case were dismissed, or if there was a jury trial and he were found not guilty, then I could understand. But pretrial diversion, even though it's pretrial diversion, it's really sort of a form of probation without the overview of the court, because you still have conditions to do. And if you complete those conditions, then the case will be dismissed. As opposed to, say, for example, if the search warrant were a bad search warrant or were an illegal search warrant and the state dismissed it, then the court can understand automatically you should get your items back. So if you all would like to come back on, let me give you all a date. if y'all will come back on the 20th, I will make a decision on whether or not to return the weapons. And if you all have any case law for me during that time, I'll review it.
Yes, Your Honor. Would you like that e-filed as a memorandum?
Oh, you
of
can,
law
you
with
can,
us?
you can email it to, I know how it is to do memorandums of law. I've been a defense attorney before. It's like, Judge, can I just hand you the case law? No, if you just have case law and the state has my email, and I know your office has my email too, you can just send it to me, the case law you have by email, and I will review it. Just make sure you include the state in that email.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right. And then, sir, you can attend the hearing if you want to in person or by Zoom. All right.
And I was wondering, does that mean that I can't also purchase guns in the future, or because since I'm not, or since you're deciding if I could get these or not?
Well, here's your issue that you're looking at, and you'll need to speak to an attorney. The issue that you're looking at is that you were placed on pretrial diversion, and whether or not you're allowed to purchase guns or whatever will depend on what the implication is of your pretrial diversion. All right, so I'll see you all back on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you. And counsel, if you don't have my email, the state will be able to give it to you.
We're not here on it.
No, the 20th. I know I said money, but it's Tuesday, the 20th. Thanks. But I will be in the Texas heat. Thanks, Norma.
You're welcome.
Norma, I will always remember Juneteenth.
What's it? Jeff, do you have a mechanic? I gave you the file. Look at it.
Ah, yes, here it is.
My person.
Yes, what is this about?
Judge, she has an MTR and she is currently a fugitive. I conferred with the state. I want to see if you would enter an agreed bond. State might have.
Well, she needs to present herself.
I didn't know how you did things, so. that's
Oh,
why
yeah,
I-
just have her present herself,
Okay,
and then we'll hear the bond.
okay,
Yes, we'll make it happen.
okay, so
Do you want to do it can you get her here today?
I can get her tomorrow morning, but I want to take her to satellite, so I guess I want to know.
All right, I'll be here tomorrow morning.
Okay, but I guess I need to know if the judge is gonna follow the agreed bond conditions, so I can have the bond in hand. Otherwise, you're gonna take it, I can't get her the bond. I'm not writing.
No, I'm sure this amount will be fine.
Okay, then I'll let her know.
All right, Norma, I have to be here on Friday because I'm presiding.
Okay.
So look at me trying to ruin everybody else's Friday, but it'd just be this one thing. Sorry, guys. Yes.
Mr. Garahan, please be here at 9 o'clock.
All right, who's here on this? Angela Gonzalez.
That's me, Your Honor.
All right, where is your client?
My client is in the Barrett County Jail, Judge. She's remanded on a no bond. And I filed a motion to set bond. We're just asking the court to set a bond. I spoke with Mr. Escobar. I think he and I have an agreement of what would be an appropriate recommendation for the court.
All right, so we'll have to have a hearing on this. And so she'll have to be here.
Okay. So you want us to set it for a hearing then, Judge?
Well, I mean, you all said you've come to an agreement.
Yes, Judge.
All right, so she'll just need to be here.
She's in jail, Judge.
Oh, I know, that's why you all.
So you want me to set it for a hearing? That's what my question.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
I think Fabian Cardenas has.
Well, let's see. We have Michael Williams. Did we do Michael Donovan Williams?
Yes.
Okay. We have Sean Branch. That's family violence. Oh, we have Timothy Nichols. Oh, okay, active warrant.
Did you?
Oh, no, that's fine if it's, yes. All right, and then James Bradley. Did we finish James Bradley?
No, Judge.
All right, and then we have Tyrone Eads. Is the aggravated robbery with you all or no?
He overran the car, the transmission went out, so.
Okay.
He's having a hard time getting over. He said if he can get recalled sometime next.
All right, so we're gonna recall that next week, but for you guys, he has 1, 2, 3, 3 aggravated robberies in the ag sex case. So I don't know if that's, I know the sex case is family violence. All right. So what date do you want to bring that back, Norma?
Thursday, the 22nd.
All right. Can you all let him know his attorney has car issues, so he can't be here, but we'll bring him back on June 22nd. And that's for discovery still, everyone. And then, okay, Jorge Macias, that's family violence. We've done Luna. Oh, that's it. All right, thank you. Bye. All right, you guys too. All right, thank you. Sorry about that. I know we don't have Friday. All right. You're welcome. Thank you.
So for Gonzalez.
On this hearing, Judge, does it have to be on the record on this meeting?
Yes. Unless they want to, you know what, they could take it to, set it for tomorrow with Miguel Nahara.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I can send it over to you on this.
Okay, can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So come tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll just send it.
Okay.
And you know what, Norma, see if Nahara would take Kelly Piddle's case as well.
He didn't file a motion.
I have it, it's e-filed, but I don't think it's in yet. It'll be in this afternoon. Yeah. I just put it in the copy in there, but I e-filed it, but I don't think it's in yet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it should be accepted.
Yeah, it'll be accepted this afternoon for sure. Okay.
Are you all ready on Sean Branch?
So I just go down there tomorrow. I don't have to come
Yes.
here. I just go straight down there.
All right, court is calling 2022 CR 6211, State of Texas versus Sean Branch. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Thanks to the state of Texas.
for the defense? Are you Sean Branch?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea on May 11th to aggravated sexual assault of a child. You entered a plea of guilty. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 20 years. The state is opposing your application and there's to be no contact with the complainant. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state? Defense? Any objection? All right, any witnesses?
Just Mr. Branch, maybe want to say something to the court, but I have some things to put on the record.
All right, Mr. Branch, if you would like to say anything to the court, you'll be placed under oath and the state will have a chance to cross-examine you. So do you wish to say anything?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right. State, you're opposed?
Yes, Your Honor. The reason the state is opposed is, this wasn't just a one-time incident. It happened multiple times. There's a confession in this case. When questioned by the detective, Mr. Branch told the detective that the complainant let him know that she had previously been sexually abused and that she would touch him in different ways and basically that she was coming on to him. State's argument is that's no excuse. The defendant should have told the complainant that he's an adult and that the way she's acting is not the right way to act with adults and taking the lead and made her understand that the right way that adults should behave around children. Instead of that, the defendant took advantage of the complainant and had sex with her in various ways, oral sex, and placed his hand on the complainant's vagina and penetrated with his hand. For that reason, the state is asking for you to sentence the defendant to 20 years TVC.
All right, defense.
Again, those are all reasons why Mr. Branch pled guilty and guilty as opposed to no contest. He knows he's responsible. He knows what he should have done. He knows what he didn't do that he should have done, and so he pled guilty. Fact is, this man has no prior contact with justice. He served 8 years in the U.S. Army, deployed twice to Iraq as infantry and field artillery. And he has no excuse for what he did, which is why he pled guilty. And this is not offering him background as an excuse, but as potential mitigation of punishment, which the law allows. We have ranges of punishment for these things, especially a first degree 5 to 99 or life, for a reason. And if anybody should maybe qualify for probation in such a case, among other people who may have such a case and worse records or other things in their past, I would think it would be Mr. Branch, simply because he's never had contact with the justice system before. And so we're asking that you give him that chance. You know, Judge, how rigorous, from both your experience as a defense attorney, prosecutor, and judge, how rigorous sex offender probation is. It's not a walk in the park by any stretch. And again, other than these incidents, he's got no other issues in the past. So we were hoping that the court might see it that way, but if not, we're asking the court if you consider at least imposing something lower than the cap.
All right. So my understanding from reviewing things, if my math is incorrect, let me know that it's incorrect. But from what I can see, she was 12. Am I reading this incorrectly?
It's the state's understanding.
Because it's alleged to have happened on or about 2016. And the date of birth is 2004. So she's either 12 or 13.
Stands to reason that's what made it aggravated as opposed to
Yeah.
the use of force or a weapon.
No, I'm just trying to figure out the age. All right. Is there anything else?
I don't believe so. Do you have anything else?
Nothing on the state.
All right. Court will find you guilty. And I understand your service to our country, Mr. Branch, and I understand what you're saying happened. And I reviewed everything, and I understand that you did enter your confession to the police and you pled guilty to the court. The court will find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 20 years in the prison. There's to be no contact with the complainant, Chapter 62 registration, and credit for any time served. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Branch, I will tell you, I do recognize and appreciate the fact that you decided to enter a plea of guilty, the fact that you owned up to what you did and that you know it was wrong. All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
The state has